Matthew chapter 5 and verse number 17 says, "Think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill." You ever tasted something that just wasn't right? Maybe like when I was a child, your mother left the milk out on the counter a little bit too long. You came and took a sip, and it's just not the same when it's sitting out for 3 hours. Doesn't taste as fresh, you know. Maybe you have a specific thought in mind when you taste maybe one of your grandma's or one of your aunts or one of your family members' certain dessert, and you know they make it a different time. You're like, you know, this just doesn't taste right. Something just seems a little bit off. And I think that's how maybe a lot of people were really feeling whenever they heard this Sermon on the Mount that Jesus began to speak. You know, this isn't your typical Jewish sermon. He's not talking about things like obey the Sabbath and make sure that you fulfill the law and keep the feasts and do this, do this, do this. His sermon really is very different from probably what the Jews were typically familiar with hearing. It was kind of turning everything on its head. Maybe some people were wondering where Jesus came up with these ideas. Maybe some thought that he was starting a new religion. Many people thought that the Messiah was supposed to come and remove the Roman government and overthrow them. But it kind of seems like, if you hear the first couple parts of this sermon, that maybe he's throwing the Levitical law out too. This doesn't sound like a typical Deuteronomy Moses sermon. And Jesus stops kind of midway through the first chapter and kind of puts the brakes on and says, look, I'm not come to destroy the law and the prophets. I'm coming to fulfill it. And today, I really want to talk about really part one of this indestructible law that we have. In verse 17, he's talking about this special security that the Bible has. And he's pretty much saying, beware of this supposed destruction. I'm not coming to destroy. And that word destroy means to loosen. Have you ever camped out before? Camping out is so much easier these days than it used to be, especially when you have all these fancy tents that you could buy. I got a tent that sleeps like 6 or 7 people easily, and the thing can be installed and set up in like 5 minutes. Boom, boom, boom. You just snap, 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 boom, and you got this huge monstrosity. And when you tear it down, it takes about 10 minutes, and it's just snap, snap, snap down, and whew, the thing falls in on itself. That's what this word destroy means. It means to loosen like a tent. It's like you got the tent straps pulled tight. It's taut, and all of a sudden you loosen and it just falls in. That's not what Jesus is doing here to the law. He's not making it cave in upon itself. He's not destroying the law, demolishing, dissolving the law and the prophets. And when he says the phrase law and the prophets, he's specifically referring to the Old Testament. If you know how the Old Testament is broken up, it's typically broken up into 2 sections. Some do it in 3, but it can be 2. The law, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and good old Deuteronomy. That's the law of Moses. And then everything else is considered the prophets. Some people put it minor prophets, major prophets, the poetry of the prophets. Bottom line, he's saying, I'm not coming to destroy the Old Testament. I'm not making a new religion here. I'm not coming to break something down. And we really get this idea, especially in Hebrews chapter number 10, that the Old Testament law was just a shadow. It was just a rough outline of what was really going on, and that would be revealed in what we call the New Testament. Hebrews chapter 10 verse 1 says, "For the law, having a shadow of good things to come, and not the very image of the things, can never, with those sacrifices which were offered year by year, continually make the comers thereunto perfect." And so what he was saying is all this sacrifice, all this law stuff that Moses gave, this wasn't meant to be how it was supposed to be forever. This was a temporary fix, okay? To use the tent illustration again, the Old Testament's like a tent. The New Testament is like a building. It is a stick-built structure. It is more firm than what the Old Testament had. The sacrifices were just a temporary thing until Jesus came and died for the sins of the whole world. And when Jesus died, he paid for the sins of not just the present people and the future people, but for the past that were looking forward unto the cross. And all these feasts and all these laws and all these ideas were nothing but a picture to point us to the one who would come and fulfill it all. And that's what Jesus is saying. I'm not here to destroy. I'm here to decorate. Okay, and that's what verse 17, the second part, is teaching us. I'm coming to build upon or to fulfill the law and the prophets. He wasn't rewriting what they were taught. He was building upon it. He was adding on to it. He was shoring up the foundation. The word fulfill means to satisfy, to furnish, or to fill. He was building upon it. He was adding stability to what was already there in the Old Testament. I mean, it's kind of like, have you ever had an electric toothbrush? Have you ever gone from a regular manual toothbrush to an electric toothbrush? It's like, whoa, what have I been doing my whole life? Going back and forth in my mouth with my arm when I could have been using an electric toothbrush the old time. You ever shaved with a normal razor and then picked up a electric razor? You're like, man, I've been wasting hours of my life shaving. It's an upgrade. And that's what Jesus is saying. I'm not here to destroy. I'm here to upgrade. I'm here to make things better. Second chapter of Colossians, verse 16 says, "Let no man therefore judge you in meat or drink, or in respect of holy day, or in new moon, or of the Sabbath days, for they are a shadow of things to come, but the body is of Christ." And so here's just a little side note. Most people break down the law into several sections. Some people refer to one section as the civil law or the case law. This was specific to Israel alone. The civil laws, they had rules like putting a battlement on your roof so somebody doesn't fall off of it, trying to protect people that stand on the roof. Roof parties were pretty popular back then in that culture. So you have the civil law. Then you have what's called the moral or the ethnic law. This is really the Ten Commandments and other things that have to do with morality. And then you have the ceremonial law, which was the diets and the feasts and the sacrifices. Also has to do with, how to deal with leprosy and things like that. That's more the ceremonial law. And then you have the fourth part, which is kind of the cultural practices, like greeting people with a holy kiss. All right, that's a cultural thing. It's not a law. Throwing a shoe over your shoulder, like in the book of Ruth, not required for us, but cultural. So again, you have the civil law, the moral law, the ceremonial law, and the cultural practices. Okay, Jesus came to satisfy the civil law and the ceremonial law, and to build upon, to furnish, to upgrade, to go deeper into the moral law. In fact, in the next several verses, we're going to see a lot of phrases that Jesus says that keep coming up. "Ye have heard it said at old time, but I say unto you," this is how it used to be, but let me go a little bit deeper. It's not just about don't murder. I'm talking about don't hate. That's building upon the moral law. It's not don't commit adultery, don't lust in your heart. Okay, he's building upon, he's furnishing, he's upgrading. And so here's what Jesus Christ is doing in his teaching. Ye have heard, and now I say unto you. So he's setting the stage for this. So know this about the law. It's indestructible. And Jesus didn't destroy it. He made the Old Testament better. He filled in color to the shadow that we see in books like Leviticus and Numbers and Deuteronomy. He's showing us what he was pointing to, and it was himself. The Bible's a wonderful book. You should read it every day. You should make it a part of your life. And when you get a chance, you should share it with others. Have a great day. God bless you.